Hey everybody, it's Jake. Let's Go Resale here. Just want to talk to you today about some cool stuff that we did a couple of weeks back. We basically were able to go to somebody's comic book store that they had when they retired, and we got a bunch of comics from them. Now we took the comics and we went through them, actually found some very rare pieces. So today we're just going to bring in a comic book expert that's going to go through them, look at some good ones, and show you kind of the highlights of that find. So I'm very excited for this. It's going to be something that you can go and look at and maybe find these same comics yourself when you're out and about. My main operation, or my main purpose of this channel, is to make sure that you can learn from it. So whether that's selling comics, whether that's selling anything at a thrift store, my main mission is to help you locate those items and then teach you how to flip them for a profit. So very excited. Please like and subscribe so that we can all just kind of learn together. If you have any questions about anything, please comment on the video and I'm going to respond to every single comment. I'm not the hugest channel and I can do that. So without any further ado, let's get into this awesome video.
Which one? This?
Yeah.
No, that's just Marvel graphic novel number 4. It's the first appearance of the New Mutants. So it's a graphic novel. So sometimes people overlook it because it's a little bit bigger than a regular comic book. And so people it oftentimes gets overlooked. It gets put with like magazines and other things, but it's the first appearance of the New Mutants and several of the New Mutant characters. So it's a very, very cool book. And this one is a 4th print. You can see right there, it says 4th print. So, it's not as much as the first print, but it's still very cool. I mean, but there's some really cool oversized comic stuff that sometimes you want to check out the magazine section, because sometimes these oversized comics, some of them have first appearances and cool covers and rare. I mean, there's like, especially from the 70s, there's some really cool, like Vampirella and other horror ones. There's just some really cool oversized stuff.
Is that Superman versus who on that
Muhammad Ali. Superman versus Muhammad Ali. Take this out.
Look at the size of that thing.
And this is actually pretty, it's not bad condition for this book.
Okay, shoot.
So, people love Muhammad Ali. Collectors are huge, right? I mean, and Superman versus Muhammad Ali. And it's just a great book. And it's oversized. So, it's hard, it's hard to store if you're a collector, but it's just really cool. And there's some Marvel and DC crossover ones, like we saw in here. This one. I love this one. Where is it? I thought I saw, here we go, yeah. Here we go. Hulk versus Batman.
How are you going to have Batman versus Hulk?
I know, isn't that awesome? It's just really cool. I mean, and this one's water damage. It's that water damage on the corner. It's beat up. Someone loved this book and read it. Some kid probably read this thing like 1,000 times. It's awesome. So, these are some very, very cool. Yeah.
Have fun.
Cardboard. And then we just, we'll put bubble wrap around it, and then we'll just tape around. I mean,
cool.
It looks ugly when you ship it, but
that's cool.
You just want to make sure that if it shows up and the cardboard is bent, the person's going to complain.
Dude, you see eBay's email message last night? It completely changes the game for me, dude.
What happened?
So,
yeah, this stuff
okay.
too.
Oh wow, look at this. So I don't know. I mean, like, isn't that an amazing cover? Some of these like 1950s covers are just amazing, right? And look at that.
Laser
snowman
eyeballs.
with lasers coming out of their eyes. And you can tell that one easy way to tell the year is just if it has the approved by the comics code on it, because that started in 1956. So if you see a 10-cent book and it doesn't have the approved by the Comics Code Authority, then you're very good chance you're looking at like a pre-1956 book. So like this one, you can see how big, like the early ones, they made that Comics Code Authority really big. But Plastic Man, people love Plastic Man. And then, this is a cool one. Atlas later became Marvel Comics. I mean, it's funny because what would happen is, like, the guys who ran Timely, that then became like Atlas, then became Marvel, I may be missing one in between, they were like tax cheats. So they would just like run the company until like all the tax debt and unpaid taxes got caught up with them, and then they changed the name. That's what I've heard. I mean, that's the story I've heard. I'm not a history expert, but so it's cool. Anytime you see like the Atlas ones, I mean, look at that, Strange Tales, number 50. And then you have, I don't know all my Golden Age DC stuff. I wish I knew all the, all these early appearances, but these are just very, very cool 1950s DC books. Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
It's getting harder and harder to see this stuff.
Oh yeah, you don't see these, and these are fun. Like I think you were showing me this. Like a lot of people used to take their comic books and punch holes in them. I don't know if you can see the little holes. They would punch holes in them and put them in binders, or they would actually bind the books. Have you ever come across like a bound set?
I have.
Yeah, people will bind. They would like bind a set together in like a hardback so they could have it on their wall. And so sometimes you have like these mega key books that are like in a hardbound book, kind of bound together. But people also loved like the funny animal books. So like this one. There were lots of and there's lots of collectors that see this one. See how it's there's no Comics Code Authority. So this one is very likely much older. A little bit. Much more an older book. So you just be careful and take it out and look at the. So 1953. Yeah. So but there are a lot of people who collected these funny animal books. Kind of like the Disney characters, but there's lots of other characters out there. People, not as much now, but there are still some Golden Age collectors that love.
How often do we see Mighty Mouse? Look at that.
Yeah, look, there you go. It's Mighty Mouse.
Here's a fun stack for you.
Oh wow, what do we have? Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, we looked at this. This is the same Cerebus.
Yeah.
So this
counterfeit one.
It's not counterfeit, right? Yeah. This is so Dave Sim, who does this. I mean, this is cool too because it's one of the early, not the I don't say the first, but one of the early independent books. I think that he basically published this himself, and the story is that his wife or girlfriend helped him, and she in some capacity, I don't know if she was the editor or the publisher, but so it's like it's historical, also because people love the story of Cerebus the Aardvark and all the adventures he has, and it's very philosophical. It's like there's like all these existential crises and these themes that this cartoon character goes through is part of what makes it so fun. But people love.
There's like knockoff names in this too. Like
that's
not Red Sonja. It's like someone else.
That's right.
There's also a counterfeit for that book as well.
Yeah, there is. There's counterfeit versions that are also valuable because they're rare and collectible. But you're right. He would parody. Dave Sim would parody. Characters like Red Sonja and other characters in pop culture. So you see those characters popping up, and I know that I think that. This just because of the small print size, this is one of those books that people just
It's a piece of history.
it is a piece of history. Oh, there you go, right? Song of Red Sophia, right?
Red Sophia.
Yeah. Instead of calling her Red Sonja, he's gonna parody her as Red Sophia. And that's a great look at that. You got 1, 3, 4, 5. One time in like in a 50-cent bin, I found a Cerebus where Dave Sim had done an elaborate sketch on the cover and signed it. I found it in a 50-cent bin. I think we flipped it for like $200 or something.
That's incredible.
He had done this really elaborate, cool sketch of Cerebus, and he had signed it, and it was just in a 50-cent bin sitting somewhere with a whole bunch of other Cerebus books.
You just don't know, man.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, we've gone through these. Don't want to damage any of these books, but I mean, look at that. It's just a beautiful cover, isn't it? Look at the condition. I mean, it's just the condition of that thing is beautiful. I mean, I love Stan Sakai was one of the first. I think I told you one of the first books I bought as a kid was Usagi Yojimbo #2. That came after this. It was his first series, but I always loved, I loved the way that he just drew this samurai rabbit. I mean, it was very cool.